Welcome, beautiful souls. Today I'm going to answer two questions that have come up on my comment section. These two questions kind of wrap into each other, so I thought it's a nice way to merge the two. So, welcome. I'm Kathleen from Awakening Meraki. Now, the first one goes like this: how do I end this connection and be finished with it permanently? I'm tired of him hurting me and don't believe he loves me. And then the second question that I want to answer is, how do I go all in? What do you actually mean by that? So let's start with that first one, because the going all in is what we need to be doing. But I want to cover off this first, and then how to shift that, which is the way to shift it is by going all in. And what does that look like? So first of all, let's get clear on what this journey is about. It is not about a relationship. It really, truly is not. It is about your awakening. It's about you coming into resonance that you're a soul and that you have been hiding yourself, that your soul has got all this dense energy in its energy field. And this is why this connection is all about energy. It's got nothing to do with what you see in the physical world, nothing to do with what the twin is thinking, saying, feeling, doing, okay, behaving, any of that, okay? It's about you. It's about you looking into all the layers of what you say, think, feel, and do about yourself, which also includes the twin, because really the twin is just you. It's just another aspect of you. You need to look at them as that's the masculine aspect of me. It's probably the best way to put that. But how do I end this connection? You can't. It's just not going to happen. You are innately one energetic system, and you have chosen in this lifetime to incarnate into two bodies and for the soul to ascend. And that means for the soul to ascend, it needs to remove and release, transmute, because you are the alchemist, all these dense energies, all these old fear-based energies that don't belong to the soul. They just reside in this physical reality. And so you can't end it. Sorry, but you just can't end it. And I would love to say, yep, you can just go cut the cords and off you go, but that's not this journey at all. And to be honest, you don't want to. It's about you. It really is about you. I'm tired of him hurting me and don't believe he loves me are the most, and this is for anybody, and it was for me as well, it is the most disempowering words we can ever say to ourselves. I'm tired of him hurting me and don't believe he loves me. He is not doing anything to you. Nobody actually is doing anything to you. Nobody has that power over you to how you feel and how you perceive the world. Only you do. And when we put that responsibility onto somebody else, you realize that we're creating ourselves to be powerless. Let's talk about the difference between the twin and the soulmate. And the twin, and I want to talk about this as well, just because the twin is a very different role to play to the soulmate. The twin is your 100% mirror. They are going to mirror everything to you that is in the soul's energy field. And your journey is about learning that you are the alchemist. It's learning to see the difference between the ego mind, the ego that's keeping you in lack and limitation, versus the soul, which is the observer of the egoic patterns, of the that it's the ego that's going, how do I end this connection? The soul is going, we're good, we're at peace. I know we're one, right? Energetically. The ego wants to look at it and go, how do I end this? This is making me feel miserable. It's keeping me trapped. That's the ego. Learn to step back and be the observer of the ego. The ego is saying, that body over there is hurting me. And the soul part of you's going, no, you're just the observer of that. And then you start to see the illusions behind it all and realize none of it's actually true. It's just what the ego's creating. It's the stories. When you resonate that the other body is doing nothing to you, and it's the story you're telling yourself that your ego is telling you, then you will start to realize that what you've been given is a gift, because you're not those stories. You're not that pain. It's just old energy cycling around in your energy field. Now your twin has a role to play to reflect you. It's you reflecting you back to you. So look at them as they give me feedback through energy, as opposed to looking at them going, they are hurting me, they are doing this, they are causing me pain, they are doing that. That's not what's playing out here. Your twin is here to teach you to get into your divinity, into your sovereignty, and to remember who the heck you are. Okay, and they do it through reflection, essentially, right? So when they run off with another person and you're chasing them and going, woe is me, your sovereign self would not be doing any of that. Your sovereign self would be going, I am a goddess, I know who the heck I am, and nobody is going to disrupt my beautiful inner state. The wounded part of you, which is the ego part of you, is going to look at them and go, well, they're doing this, they're doing that, and they're doing this to me. But the sovereign being is going to go, nobody's doing anything to me, and if they are, then I am creating that experience. Now, I know this is really confusing. It is probably might be a little bit too complex, but you can't end this connection, and you were never meant to. They are innately in your energy field for a reason, because they're here to show you the parts of yourself where you've rejected yourself, where you've played small, where you've stayed in shitty relationships, shitty jobs, have shitty friendships, and where you've remained in them, even though they are not really in resonance with you. They are reflecting to you the parts of you that you can't see in yourself because you're so entrenched in the ego structure. My twin used to reflect to me that so I used to say to him, you're so stubborn and single-minded and bloody-minded, and you won't accept help from anybody. Took me a long time to realize that, oh, that's just me. That is exactly me. And then you get annoyed that nobody comes to help, but you're putting this big energy wall up going, I don't need your help. I am good. I can suck this up. It's the most repelling energy. It's also not receiving energy. It's not being open and expressive and abundant. It's just shutting down and disconnecting from whatever's playing out. That's what he used to reflect to me. You know, and I really had to sit with that and go, wow, that is a true reflection of how I used to be. Not anymore, but I see it, right? I see it with clarity, and that's how I was. Suck it up, get on with it, and I can cope. So you must see this journey as a gift. Your masculine is here to reflect to you. So, you know, I don't know this person's dynamics, but, you know, often they've gone off into other relationships and we're looking at it. Stop looking at it and start seeing the gift. They're just showing me where I'm not in my beautiful goddess energy, where I'm not in my own self-worth. Because somebody that's in their self-worth is not bothered about what another person is doing, because they are too engaged in being their own muse. And that's the journey you get to. You become your own muse. You become your own love story, your own love of your own life. And that's the paradox of this journey. So see the gift, beautiful soul, that you've been given. When you can come into being the soul and be the observer, and realize that everything that's playing out in your physical reality is a reflection of your inner being, then this is when you see the power of this journey. So it's about going, what do I want reflected back to me? Not just through the masculine, but just in life in general. I want to be in a beautiful relationship, right? I want that reflected back to me, one that's balanced. I want to have a beautiful job where I can go to work and know I'm making a difference. These are the things that you want to see reflected back to you. This journey is going to teach you to become the embodiment of it for it to be reflected. You see, at the moment, when we're asking these questions, your embodiment is that I am the separate self. you're in the ego, which is separate to the self. The self is the soul, the ego is the separateness, right? So you are currently in lack and limitation. You are in the embodiment of lack and limitation, where I am not worthy of a beautiful relationship, where I am not worthy of, I'm only worthy basically of experiencing pain and suffering. And that's why you want to end this connection. But the paradox of it is that this connection is teaching you to come back to the self. The self is the soul. The separate aspect of you is the ego, the stories. This is a story, right? I'm tired of him hurting me and don't believe he loves me. This is a story that you are putting into your shared energy field, and your twin has no other way that, the only way that he can play this out is by showing you in the physical world that you believe I don't love you, by running into, say, another relationship or not coming near you, because that's what you believe. You see, the twin plays out what's in the energy field in your subconscious. So change what's in the subconscious field by feeding new conscious beliefs and thoughts into it. The soulmate, you know, if a soulmate comes in, often you'll see a soulmate come in on this journey, and that's to remind you this, when you are in your, they're not here, they're here to teach you something different. The twin is going to show you, reflect to you what's in the soul that needs to be cleared out, right? And when you've cleared it and you're in this beautiful frequency of love and abundance, they reflect that back to you. Okay, so at the beginning of this journey, until it's all cleared, they're going to reflect all the lack and limitation so that you can shift it and fully embody the role of the alchemist. The soulmate might come in and show you what it's going to be like when you, to be desired again, to remind you this is what it feels like to be desired. This is what you can expect. Okay, but you must be the embodiment. When it comes to the twin, you must be the embodiment, because they can only reflect you. The soulmate is slightly different. They are mirroring to you, but they can show you parts of yourself that you can receive. But to get that from your twin, you must embody it first, because your twin is you in another body, right? So they're only going to ever show you wherever you're at. So if you're still at a place where you're not fully showing up for yourself, then, and you're not going all in, then they're going to show you that. They just don't have a choice. That's, you've got to see past the 3D and see this as it's just completely different. You can't even compare this. There's you, the twin flame, and then there's everybody else. And everybody else is going to show you different parts, okay? Whereas the twin can only reflect you, whatever's in the soul. So if there's any lack, any belief systems around they don't love me, they are going to show you I don't love you until you love yourself. And then when you start loving yourself, then they will come in and go, oh, maybe I do. That's the paradox of this journey. But you've got to be fully embodied in it, because that's what you're dismantling, is that energetic wall. Okay, going all in. Going all in is this, and it segues really nicely into this. Going all in is going, right, I am going to focus fully in on this journey for what it truly is, and I'm going to step into being the alchemist. And so what that looks like is I am going to look at all the layers, all my belief patterns, all those limiting thoughts that come up, and I'm going to go, where have they come from? What are these beliefs? They belong to my mother. Well, they probably belong to her mother and their mother and their mother and their mother, and none of them are bloody true. That is called being the alchemist. That is going all in, looking at these layers and saying they're not true. And you can do that when you get into observer mode, when you're in soul. But when you're in the ego, and the ego is separate to you, if you're believing in the ego, you're going to stay stuck. Going all in is starting to go, right, I'm going to invest in, I'm going to look at these layers that are deep, entrenched in me, where it's keeping me suffering and in a place where I know I'm not shining my light. And it means having those hard conversations with myself and really getting real, really looking at yourself and going, yep, I was that person that was stubborn and single-minded. I was so bloody minded, and it was like my way or no way. And I didn't mean that for everyone else. It was just for me, right? So I just want to get clear on that. I didn't think that about everybody else. It was just, I know what's best for me. And I didn't back then know what was best for me. I do now, but I certainly didn't back then. Because what's best for me is being in soul, not in my ego structure and my stubborn energy. You know, going all in is looking at those things and calling yourself out on your own BS, your own stories. What stories are you creating today that are simply untrue? Going all in means, you know what? This relationship is not in resonance with me anymore, and I'm going to make that brave step, and I'm going to start to exit out of it because it's suffocating me. I'm not thriving in it. It's being honest with yourself. It's getting real and honest. This job is no longer serving me. Living in this city, I don't want to be here anymore, even though my family are here, but I just don't want to be here. I need to choose me. That's what going all in is. Going all in is, I need to disconnect from the masculine and the physical world for now, because it's not in my highest good, nor is it in theirs, and it's I need to transmute all this dense energy that the soul wants me to move through. Going all in is going, I need to own this journey for the truth that it is, and it is not about a relationship. It is about me coming into wholeness, into fullness, and resonating that I am the soul. And I'll tell you what, you don't want to not go all in, because your soul is bringing you to this beautiful place where you just live the most incredible balanced life. And that is the paradox of this journey, is when you go all in and you become the embodiment of your true self, your authentic self, without all the masks, without all the shutting yourself down and disconnecting and judging everybody else and judging yourself. Going all in is looking at all of that for you and saying, I want more for myself. I want better than this, what I'm experiencing. And that is the truth of this journey, is that it's here to bring you into alignment with your soul's plan. You had to experience all the other stuff. Now it's soul's going, right, let's why do we have ego death? To see the ego structure for the lies that it is, for the untruths, right? You had to see it, and yes, it's really uncomfortable, but where people stay stuck is, how do I end this connection and be finished with it permanently? They stay stuck on, this is a relationship, and it's not. This is an awakening. This is awakening to your behaviors, to your belief patterns, to why you've stayed in dynamics that are just not in resonance with you. Why do you keep jumping into different relationships? Why you can't hold abundance, and which is money, why you're in lack around all of that. It's looking at all of those layers of yourself, because none of it is true. It is programming and conditioning. Going all in is saying, is removing that thing around, I'm tired of him hurting me. No one hurts me. I choose who hurts me. I choose that. I choose it. Take your power back and say, actually, what am I doing? I choose who hurts me. I choose to love me unconditionally and stop judging myself. That is what going all in is. It's really going deep, meeting all those parts of yourself that you've closed off and shut down, and leaning in and not being afraid anymore to feel it. You must feel it. We've suppressed these things for so long. It's like stuck energy in our soul, and your soul wants to bring it to you, so you get into the observer, which is soul, and see it, and see the illusion that it is, that it's not true. None of it is true. They are just somebody else's belief patterns. And when you really peel those layers back, you release it and you start to feel your soul moving through you. It's a beautiful journey. So really hope that this helps, but you can't end this connection. You're not meant to, okay? You're not meant to. What you're meant to do is go inwards and resonate that you're an energetic being. And it's only energy playing out in the 3D. So what do you want to experience? You want to experience unity consciousness, because that's where you're in union with self, with God, with your energy, with your soul. And you stop behaving and playing out in the separate part of you, which is the ego structure. The ego is a separate entity to you, because you are soul, and that's what you're shifting out of. We've been living through the ego. Now we're flipping it back to, oh, I'm the soul. I'm the observer of the ego. Okay, so I don't want to keep playing that out then anymore. If you need some help and support, this is where I deep dive into this, into the Ascension to Union Masterclass. So I will put the link in the comments section. There is like 42 videos in there. You get a wealth of knowledge, my soul wisdom in there, and many other things. It's you get a lot of support in there. Anyway, sending so much love.